hey, it happened.
So,
And that was a very short revolution, too. Let's see, number 9, prologue the conference to ban atomic tests because the U.S. had agreed to suspend testing as long as negotiations were in progress. I don't know, have they ever finished that? I think there's still a ban going on. Anyways, number 10, allow all Soviet satellite representations of the United Nations. They would have an equal vote as the United States. Which is true. You got 160 countries. I forget how many are actually members, but they all get an equal vote, just like the United States. But most of them never even contribute. So, yeah, democracy in progress. Promote the United Nations as the only hope for mankind. If its charter is rewritten, demand that it be set up as a one-world government with its own independent armed forces. NATO? Something like that?
UN is the greatest fraud in American history next to, Federal Reserve.
Yeah, you can argue on that one, which is which. Okay, number 12, resist any attempt to outlaw the Communist Party within the United States. And that's what the American Civil Liberty is there for.
American Communist Lawyers Union, or the Anti-Christian Lawyers Union, that's what we call them here. Food for thought. Okay, what else we got? We got a roll here. Let's,
Yeah. We're going to, we got to give people a little time to digest some of this. So
really, we only got less than 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, we ain't going to get all through them. Do away with all loyalty oaths is number 13. And you're seeing that take place because, like, they don't do the Pledge of Allegiance at school, et cetera, et cetera. Number 14, continue to give Russia access to U.S. Patent Office.
Okay.
Now, that's something I'm going to have to look.
Because you missed my favorite one. Number 17.
Different
Get
highlights.
control of the school systems, folks, and use them for socialism and communist propaganda. Get the control of the teachers' associations. Now you can see why the federal government is so against church-related schools. Not that I trust totally in churchianity anymore, but of course I'm a Christian. But hey, folks, we've got to raise up our consciousness and understand that we're being fed, prescription of lies. And you know what? It's not good for our soul. It's not nourishment for our soul. We need to expand our worldviews, and that's what we're trying to help you see right now. We've been inoculated. This is like a vaccination into our country, and it's put us all to sleep.
Yeah, and getting control of the school systems, number 26, presenting homosexuality, degeneracy, and promiscuity as normal, natural, and healthy is definitely being implemented in the schools. What are they? You told me your nephew was telling you her niece about Gay Day at the Berlin School a few years ago, or last year, or something like that.
You got me.
Maybe it was somebody else was telling me about how they celebrate Gay Day at school now. So, and that's one of those things, like I've said to my aunt, I don't really care. Do what you want. You want to be gay. That's fine by me. But don't tell me that it's normal, natural, or healthy, because a lot of things we do that are not healthy. And if homosexuality was normal, then we would have bred ourselves out of existence. So, all right, let's keep going on here, though. Eliminate prayer, any phase of religious expression in the schools. That's right up with what you were talking about, getting control of the schools. As we mentioned earlier, about how, statistically speaking, since prayers were eliminated, a lot of unbeneficial things to society went up. Today, sexually transmitted diseases are up. It's 1 out of 4 high school students. Pretty soon it's going to be where everyone's got an STD. That's something to look forward to. Okay, let's see. Number 29, discredit the American Constitution by calling it inadequate and out of step. Well, we've heard that one enough times. Let's see. Number 30, discredit the American Founding Fathers, present them as selfish aristocrats who had no concern for the common man.
Rewriting history. Here we are. This is what's going on, folks. Bunch of crap. Socialist, communist crap.
And no one is perfect. Our founding fathers weren't perfect, and from what I understand regarding George Washington being a member of the Masonic Lodge and all that, yes, he was supposedly a 33rd level, and once you get up to that level, you're supposedly let in on some information that's not known to the lower levels of Masonic. And he quit. He resigned from that position. Of course, they don't promote that part. They just want you to think that George Washington was a Freemason.
So, back to what the subject is for this evening, besides the New World Order, it's Fabian Society. Let me make a few comments as we're talking about the program. There's an agenda, and here we are sharing it, Let me share what's going on in the world today a little bit more updated, okay? Now, the London School of Economics is a Fabian creation, so you get all of these people going to school for economics, and, what are they learning to implement Fabianism through the economic system? Well, Mick Jagger, he spent some time there, and so did John F. Kennedy. Now, folks, there's a a magazine called The Economist, and now that's a worldwide popular intellectual publication. It's Fabian. And there's a few other things I'd like to mention. The legendary Royal Institute of International Affairs and the Tavistock Institute of Human Relations. These are premier mind-bending institutions of the world, and they are also Fabian. Now, another thing I'd like to point out to you is that we've all been exposed here in America to Fabianism, whether we've never heard about it before. Well, folk, you got to understand, you always got to follow the money trail to find out who's funding who, to do what, to create this social engineering. Well, folks, check this out. In the United States, some of the organizations that basically are heavily influenced by Fabianism, you're going to find out you got the Ford Foundation, you've got the Russell Sage Foundation, you've got the Stanford Research Institute, you've got the Carnegie Endowments, the Aspen Institute, the Rand Foundation. Folks, remember, we aren't conspiracy hunting here, okay? We are tracking an idea and trying to make it plain for you to see that this is a bunch of crap and it's been going on. We've been too busy following the American dream. We haven't held anybody accountable as far as our politricksters out there. You know why? We're too busy and we can't lift our head up to understand what's going on here. Now, one of the big one-worlders is Zbigniew Brzezinski. He wrote a famous book, Between the Ages, America's Role in the Technotronic Era in 1970, folks. Now, this same individual, he's big friends with the Rockefellers, and the Rockefeller, well, we ain't going to get into that. But anyway, in his book, he said this, folks: "It will soon be possible to assert almost continuous control over every citizen and to maintain up-to-date files containing even the most personal details about health and personal behavior of every citizen, in addition to a more customary data." Okay, he says these files will be subject to instantaneous retrieval by the authorities. Power will gravitate into the hands of those who control the information. In that same book, he said something about the common people, who are us. And you know what he said about them? Us people, he said, they are increasingly a purposeless mass. That's Fabianism at work in our country, folks.
So we're just about out of time. I want to just bring up one other thing regarding control of society and all that. And this is from the pages, once again, of the American Free Press, because you don't hear about this. House Resolution 254, hate crime laws, submitted by Representative Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas. Basically, it's another hate crime law to try to control our thoughts. And this one basically attaches a minimum 10 years to any crime that can be construed as being based on racism. And it was brought about because this guy last year was murdered and sodomized with a lead pipe, and they believe that it was because he was gay that the crime took place.
Was it David Law?
Yeah, the David Law, right,
so
exactly.
That means what? More courts, more prisons, police state of America, one nation under surveillance. That's right, folks.
So we're out of time, and I want to leave you with a thought here. Something it was Calvin Coolidge said back in the 30s regarding what peace is, and this falls right in to exactly with what hate crime is. He said there can be no such thing as an imposed peace because the vanquished will always resent the conqueror. And it's the same thing. You cannot impose law that says you cannot hate, because even if you impose a law saying don't hate, just like God did through the Ten Commandments, basically, people still hate until we start to reevaluate ourselves and our country and what's going on, and stop putting ourselves always in such a great esteem to know that we're not such great individuals. Then we're not going to be able to do away with hate. Jesus said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. We certainly don't do that.
We need more love, people.
Absolutely do. So with that, thank you for letting us into your living rooms. I'm Buzzy Zipwak. Silly Way Out Willie. Thank you.
Peace and love
See
to
you
you,
next
folks.
week. Good night.